Hey, how's it going, everyone? Back at it again with another vlog. Today is September 1st, and I have officially made it through my first week back at UTSA. So I'm happy about that. Making some big moves, going into computer science, doing those type of classes. Little dog is running around at my feet, trying to get my attention. But yeah, so first week down and many more to go. According to like my degree works, I have about, I want to say 60 credits that I have to do because I have to take that many for the university. But if I didn't, I would be at like 30. The unfortunate problem of just transferring all over the place and going from horticulture to computer science, that's a pretty big leap, and not quite a lot of transfers with some of those classes. But I'm on the right track now, and that's great. So I looked at several different clubs and started the process of joining a few, looking to try to fit those into my schedule. Being that it's still early in the semester, I think I'll be able to like really do a lot more in the early set than getting closer, like past midterms and into the finals. It's participation may drop a bit, so that's what I'm expecting. That I joined were okay. Come on, dog. Get up here. It's a tight spot, dog. Tight spot. But some of the classes that I joined are this is my dog Dahlia, in case y'all didn't know. You're probably not gonna look at the camera, but that's okay. But what was I saying? What was I saying, dog? That's right. Yeah, some of the clubs that I joined were the Secular Student Alliance. I think that's what it's called. Being an atheist myself, it'd be nice to actually find a community of like-minded people. So I'll be doing that. I think a Latin dance club is another one I joined, just to kind of learn a little bit more, like salsa and bachata and stuff like that. Pickleball, just because I've been kind of curious to play it. I've been seeing and hearing a lot of things about it, so I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me give it a little swing. I found a cheap pickleball paddle at like this Amazon reseller type place, Bargain Depot, for like $3, I want to say. So I was like, hey, it's a pretty good deal. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to meet up with some of those guys and those fellers, and play a few games, see how that goes. Some other ones I joined was like the powerlifting club, but I'm not 100% sure on that because they supposedly meet up at a powerlifting gym that's like off campus, and it's not anywhere nearby. So maybe we'll see how that goes. And it's been a couple years since I've done like some programming, so I'm definitely going to be needing to hit the books for that. But as you can see in some of the other pictures, I'm forgetting where my limits. Some of the things I ended up doing this weekend was, there was a rowdy bash at Six Flags, and I got to ride on some of the rides and got to just chat with some of the students there. But again, they're all different levels, so may not see most of them, but it was kind of a fun thing, and kind of seeing some of the Halloween decorations that Six Flags had gotten up. That was pretty cool. As you can see, one of them right there. It's definitely a much different experience seeing them in broad daylight versus, midnight, closer to midnight when it's like all dark. And yeah, I have some of those older pictures of them, and it's like, whoa, they night and day difference. I was like, I really can't make out what much detail in the night, but yeah. And the other thing I ended up getting into was San Japan 2024. So that was pretty cool. I wasn't actually. I'd been sleeping on that event for so long. Like I've heard of it, but this is the first year where I actually like really looked at the schedule of events, and I saw so much stuff that I was like, oh, I got to at least try to do some of these things, and it was pretty nice. Like some of the stuff I got to see was this one booth, World of Indie Horror, and well, I mean, some of the games they showed were, I think, some I've already seen and some that were new, so that was pretty cool. So much merchandise, but that's to be expected at either like an anime convention or a Comic-Con. Just so much stuff to buy, and it's like, well, if you got the money, you'll come out a pretty happy person. But if you're trying to live a little bit more on a budget or frugally, it's a whole lot of window shopping. But some of the other things I got to do was demo and play some games. Obviously, the one being this one right there, Lorcana. Like, I've heard of that game. It just came out not too long ago, and it was actually pretty cool being able to actually play test it. I played with some other lady. Excuse me. Yeah, I ended up crushing her pretty decisively. So I definitely got into the hang of the game pretty quick. And the other game was Betrayal at the House on the Hill. I think that's the name. That was another one that's been on my radar, but you kind of need a big group to play that, or else it really, the odds are definitely not in your favor if you're just one person. So, with that being said, that was pretty cool. That was a very fun event. There was a ton of stuff that I didn't really get the chance to do, which was doing the, I guess some was like medieval combat type training. Like there was so much stuff that was like so intersected. Like you couldn't do everything all at once in one day, and that's all I ended up going for was just one Saturday and yesterday basically. Today's the 1st. That was the 31st. So I honestly couldn't do everything, but I got to see some of it, and I got a bunch of like pamphlets and QR codes, so I will be able to try to explore those things later on down the road. But yeah, there was another one that was, oh man, it was so cool looking. I didn't get a chance to register for it. It was called True Dungeon, which is like they had a whole convention room from what I could tell, and that was just like like just decked out and into a real dungeon. So I mean, overall it was a pretty badass event, and I would highly recommend anybody who is here around this time, Labor Day-ish, to at least try to check out one day if you can. I mean, obviously, I think next year, I'm going to go for a 3-day pass and try to just really, really dig into it. Play some tabletop games with folks, or see more of the convention panels that they have, and just really try to get into it because there was some stuff that was free. You know, like the VR, playing VR games, that was free, and that was so badass. um, but yeah, those that event was super cool. And one thing I ended up okay, you might have to get down, dog. For this next part, I did buy a few Lorcana packs just to kind of like at least get into it again. You know, because I used to do the whole Yu-Gi-Oh trading card deal back in the day, but you know that game kind of evolved into, goddamn, a big mess in my opinion. It is like so hard to get into, and Lorcana was pretty easy, and it was so cool because I ended up winning using like Maleficent type characters, and that's like, oh, definitely one of my favorite characters. I might try to, yeah, I'll probably end up getting like a starter deck here next month or so, or sometime into September, whenever I just feel like it, and just try to organize a deck and just play randomly with different groups. And that was another cool thing, you know, was finding like so many different groups that were out here in the city to like play board games with, and Lorcana and all these other games. So that's pretty fun. So it's yeah, I'm gonna have like my hands full kind of these next few months being super social. You know, different clubs I'm gonna be joining, different board game groups I'm gonna try to attend, and you know, when I'm not having fun and socializing, I'm gonna end up cracking them books pretty hard. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Well, I guess on this other topic, I guess I should include fitness into this because because I've been kind of thinking if I should separate like in a fitness vlog into its own, or just incorporate that into my typical vlogs, which is just life in general. Which right now I'm just gonna combine them, just out of convenience and saving myself a little bit of time. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm so grateful that, you know, the rec center at UTSA is pretty top notch. You know, it's definitely a lot better than what you'd find at a typical gym. So that's so great, and you know, they do so many programs that I am gonna try. You know, among all the other things I said, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this. You know, I'm gonna try not to burn myself out, obviously, doing so much of that stuff. But yeah, some of the stuff, like fitness-wise, that they have there are different, like competitions. Yeah, I know there's one for like bench press and push-ups. Those two, you know, those two are, I think, on my radar, on my calendar somewhere, that I want to like just try to show off. So I'm gonna be training a little bit hard for those two, just for fun, and to get back into it again, because golly, I think lately I've gotten up to about 240-ish pounds, and this is, I mean, it's definitely the heaviest I've ever been. And yeah, I need to definitely hit the gym a little bit. It's been a little tough because I was recovering a bit for a little car accident I got into. So it did limit me into what type of like physical activity I could have done. But now I'm kind of like at the tail end of that recovery. So I'm feeling a lot better. And I need to definitely get back into it because it's definitely, yeah, I can definitely feel it because walking around campus a lot, I'm a little bit more winded. But I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of stairs and a lot of hills. Um, Not as bad as in other places, but there's a lot of elevation gain and loss that you got to keep on doing. Anytime you're trying to go to one part of the campus to another, and it's like up and down, up and down. Then this heat doesn't really make things any better, so it's like I'm definitely sweating. So I definitely, that's probably nothing, dog. But yeah, it. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I that's one of the things I'm hoping to improve on. I think the next time I do a fitness vlog, I'm gonna go like a little bit more in depth of like what activities I'm trying to do, because like I said, the campus rec has quite a bunch of things to sign up for that I'm gonna try to do, and then still right now I'm like trying to rebuild. Excuse me. I'm trying to rebuild a program that's gonna like really be functional and actually do the most, be the most effective while being able to function with the activities I want to do, like going to the board groups and Latin dance groups, and actually try to fit that into my schedule where it doesn't really like finding that happy balance between being able to go to the gym and being able to like enjoy social activities. So that's something that I hope to really nail down in the next week or two. Because like right now, that first week of classes, I generally don't. I don't really like consider that into like future planning, because the first week is usually the easiest. It's going over the syllabus and going over a few refresher topics. Taking things slow. It's not until like week 4 of 16 that it's like, all right, that's where the tempo really, like weeks 3 or 4 is where like the tempo really gets to that point where it's like throughout the rest of the semester. It's like you got to keep on it, because a lot of assignments that were assigned, like right as class starts, they're not due until like next week. So it's like, there's so much leeway in that first week, so it's not as bad. But yeah, in the coming weeks we'll see how that goes and what I can do to maintain it. But as far as that goes, I think that's really all I have to talk about. And a good journey. Well, with that said, y'all guys take it easy. I'll see y'all next time.